I'm going to start with a poem called Subway. And this one captures some of my brother's, captures some of my brother's life in a way. My brother liked hanging around in Subway a lot, and it became a very important part of his life. So this is called Subway, and it's for Francie. Subway. It was my fault, actually. I told him years ago when I was a student, I'd worked out that if you want to sit and read in a cafe, pick a franchise because the staff don't care about profit and won't notice if you sit there all night reading a novel or writing one. So began Francie's lifelong relationship with Subway. Meet me in Subway. Whether it was in Belfast or County Down, he'd be there at the seat the nearest the door, watching the street life through the glass front. I could check things when I was there: his clothes, his eye contact, how long he would sit before getting another Diet Coke refill, how many refills he thought it was appropriate to get, what was his banter with the staff like. I'd check their faces to see if they were enjoying his crack or if they'd had enough of him. When things were rough for him and our family storms or his own storms left him edgy and with nowhere to sit, meet me in Subway. When he'd just gotten out of hospital and was trying to figure out what to do now that that course or job was gone, meet me in Subway. Maybe it was the maps of the New York subway that gave him his bearings. He'd never been, but he always really wanted to go. Madison Square Gardens, of course, to fight Tyson, Louis, or Dempsey. But it was the money too. You could get a lot of relaxed sit for a couple of quid in Subway. Community centres were okay, but the staff could sometimes study you a bit, wonder how long you were going to be. Even in one of the bad ones, even for Francie, that I had seen coming and tried to intervene from across the water, but instead had had to follow and track like an inept CIA operative trying to catch Jason Bourne. When he got completely activated and ripped out the computers and leads at his local bank because they couldn't give him any more money from his account, and he generally smashed the place up a bit and threatened the staff, he then walked across the street and sat down with a Diet Coke in Subway. And in the subsequent kickoff, when the police rushed in and tried to restrain the ex-boxer and martial artist who knew all the Jason Bourne and Bruce Lee movies by heart and was smack bang at the peak of a psychosis, where one of the officers was injured and it was all recounted for the courts, who completely ignored his condition and charged him with assault based on the CCTV footage from his local subway. So next time I was back home after it and we wanted to meet up, I was, even by Francie's standards, a little surprised when he said that we should meet in Subway. This time I went a bit slower and checked with the staff out of earshot. Was it okay? And they laughed and said, Francie, of course, he's got crack. And then when the unthinkable, even for Francie, happens and he drops dead at 47 on Lower Crescent as the boxers rush over, as the bouncers rush over and try their best to resuscitate, we can all work out that he's just crossed Botanic coming out of Subway. There must have been a Diet Coke refill cup lying beside him, spilling onto the pavement. But even for Francie, I was surprised when at the wake in Burndale Estate, as I was sitting there in a fairly traumatized state, we got a knock on the door and it's 4 young women in fleece uniforms, makeup already smudged well before we take them anywhere near the open coffin, carrying 3 stacked trays of assorted 6-inch sub-baguettes from Subway.